OK，让我们开始吧。今天我要试着去用一种不同的这个讲法，就对于我自己来说，不同的这个讲法来讲一下，因为这个就来自于我对自己这个反思了以后，又形成了一个新的成长，就是说怎么样去，就是说不把别人当人。对，这个点是一个非常有意思，就是说好像存在一个世界的时候，这个其他的人和其他东西是一样的那种感觉。如果是这样的话，我会进入到一种什么样的状态？对，这个就是我今天想分享。首先嗯，从我的这个角度来说的话，其实我平常有时候现在讲话，尤其是有时候工作呀或者之类的时候，在讲话的时候是用英文，所以我可能也会用英文来试着分享一下我对这个未来世界的一种看法吧，就未来世界会朝哪个方向发展。然后这个就是我想分享的，其实和我之前写那个文章里面的一些观点比较接近，但是我现在就会又想了很多一些新的一些具体的细节，所以想今天分享一下。对，so let's get started. Okay, so the world that I'm envisioning in the future is going to be a completely different world, which means that people are going to be spend most of the time indoor. And what that means is when you actually want to communicate with someone, it's not going to be like face to face. Instead, it's going to be through some technology. And that's definitely going to be through technology. And the type of technology I'm talking about is not going to be anything that we have today. It's going to be a extension for that, but it's not going to be completely the same. So I can give you an example. So the type of technology that I'm talking about is going to be something even a bit beyond 4K and 120 frames per second. What that means is, okay, for example, this particular website you're using is the Bilibili website. So they recently started to allow people to upload content at 4K and 120 frames per second. What that means, okay, so remember we discussed Andy in the past. So in that particular video, Andy also talked about, the director Andy. So the Andy also talked about and shared his view on this type of technology. He thought that this was so advanced that it was much, much more important than the type of technology transition between black and white movie to like colorful movie. Okay, so what that means, imagine, right? So you have on one side all this kind of black and white things, like the type of video that I usually record, and on the other hand, is like with very vivid color and all that changes. So that's the type of difference I'm talking about. And because of that change, because that thing, people started to use more and more this kind of color version, and eventually not many people, except for some artist or some director who intentionally do that. Not many people actually go and with this black and white, because in the color mode you can actually get a lot more information. You can see, for example, what type of colors your idols are wearing, right? You can actually use that because that's closer to what you see in reality, and it's closer to, let's say, what you see in your daily life. And with that type of technology available in the future, is exactly going to be like that. So think about this. What is blocking us? One thing that is blocking us is the communication technology. So from here, and if you want to actually broadcast 4K 120 frames per second, it requires bandwidth much larger than probably 100. I remember last time when I saw on the YouTube, it was at the 4K. It requires 20 megabytes something, 25 megabytes of pixel of bandwidth. And if we actually want to go even larger and even faster, that was still like 30 frame per second. So we're talking about something like 120 megabytes in terms of bandwidth. It's much, much larger than what we have today. So it's going to be definitely 5G, and I'm not even sure 5G can handle that kind of bandwidth. But let's go back to what type of experience you're going to get here. So with that type of experience, it means this kind of a social distance or the traditional concept of friends and families will dissolve. Okay, so why? Right. So the reason that we actually go and then go to school and then learn classes, or we go to let's hang out with friends in a restaurant or something. The reason that we do that is because we can actually see them in real time, and our eyes can see all the details if possible. However, that's not the type of thing that we could do today. And this is, with 120 frames per second, that's actually gonna be very, very close, if not exactly the same at that level. Because remember, we talk about people are generally having like 100 milliseconds delay. And if we actually are able to deliver 100 frames per 20 frame per second, this means it's gonna be within definitely 100 millisecond range, and it can be even faster. And if we are able to build the type of technology that can deliver that content to other people, that will change. That will change people's experience. So you no longer need to hang out with your friends face to face. You can just do that all in your home, let's say with a mirror or something. Imagine a mirror in how, like in your house. When you imagine a mirror like that, you can just go there and communicate with your friends or family, and because you don't have to even, like, essentially your circle will be much, much larger. What I mean by that, okay, so today, let's say, are you going to go to a school that will take like 3 hours of commute, and you are gonna go there one way and go back the other way, right? So you spend in total 6 hours. Or do you think you're gonna want to go to some school like that, right? You don't want to, right? Because the reason that you don't want to go there is because you just spend, let's say, 7 hours studying, and then you have to spend more than half of that time, like to say 6 hours on the commute. So you're not gonna do that. However, if the right type of technology can be in place, then that's possible. That means you're expanding your circle. You're expanding your living circle. So you are able to have close friends that can actually communicate with you and can hang out with you in a much larger circle. And that means people's circle of influence are gonna be expanded as well. So that will change a lot of things. So let's say today you don't have a good friend in your school. Okay, assume that's the case. Then you are fucked, basically. You are going to be lonely for most of your time as a children, like let's say in your childhood, and then that's gonna be bad for you, right? So however, a lot of those scenarios, when I actually look into those cases, it's not because that they are bad, particular bad or anything. It's just that they are having some different altitude, different mindset, and those things are really, really unique, and those things should be preserved. Like I mentioned, the mission that's for my future, or the thing that I'm working on right now, is how can we make every individual more confident and healthy. And also by doing that, we're essentially creating a world where everyone can be themselves and also collaborate with others, which means you don't have to be like pretend who you are in a very, very small and limited circle. Because let's say you only have a few friends in your class and that's the only school you can go to, then your interest, and you have to kind of align your interests with others. You have to talk with others in that way. And even if you don't like it, you have to kind of try to fit in, basically. And if that's the case, then think about it. If that's the case for one person, what about all the other people out there? Do they really just be themselves? Or do they want to maintain this kind of community, the concept of community? Or they could actually, on the other hand, to get merged into a global community so that you can actually shine. Remember, like the like this was an actor. I forgot his name. Or he also doing a singer, but basically one thing that he mentioned was you don't really have to kind of study well and all that to survive or live better. Imagine all the actors, they don't have that good of, let's say, study, or traditionally how we define study. And they don't have like a good grade from the school, and they can still survive. And that's the part I'm talking about. This is exactly the part of experience I'm talking about, so that you can actually deliver the right content and right skill. Like you like to build certain things, certain products, and you can actually deliver those to other people also. And I also heard numerous of stories about people who they love drawing, or they just want to do, let's say, write some books, or they just want to do like basically all this kind of creative work, but their work are not accepted. Their work are considered as outliers, not mainstream, so they're not accepted. However, the key thing here is that they are outlier in the particular community, but if you see them from a global community, it's actually quite difficult to be super unique. That's very interesting, because if you think about it, if you go to the website and try and see things, all this kind of new things, different things, a lot of that you see are quite different from the type of life you can expect. But also, if you want someone close to you to actually do things like that in the video, it's gonna be super difficult. That's exactly why. There are people, for example, like there are people who can eat lots of food, and yeah, they can be quite, let's say, outlier in their community. But if you compare to other people who can eat also lots of food on the global scale, that's probably not, they might just be at the beginner level, right? In that case, we're talking about you're comparing against some Guinness World Record holders, and that's definitely possible with this internet, all this kind of technologies in place. So that's why I believe those kind of direction are going to be the future direction for people. And there are also things like how to handle relationship, right? So today, that's a big blogger with Stanley. I don't know how's his name, like if that's the right name to call it, but he was kind of a stand-up comedian. And one thing that he explained was he could just be happy by himself, but at the moment when he wanted to find a girlfriend, that's the moment when he realized, oh, because they want flowers, they want nice cars, they want nice and brilliant houses. And that's when I started kind of contributing to do more things. I can't really be myself. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. So that's the type of relationship we need to fix in a world of a virtual world is another important question that we can talk about and discuss like in length. Okay, so I don't want to cover that for now, but those are also the things that I've been spent tremendous time to kind of think about, and how like in the future how that's gonna look like, and what are the things that we can do in terms of technologies to help mitigate that need and to help satisfy that need. If we can do that, I'm super confident that the world is gonna be completely different than what you see right now. And in terms of the time, I don't know, maybe let's say 5-10 years. It depends on how we set up the milestones. I have some rough plan, but I haven't aligned all the time with different things, because today there are lots of new things coming up. But again, this is a very long-term plan that in the future, after the end of a plan, you will see a completely new world. And that's what makes me excited. Okay, it gives me a lot of power and energy, and I will feel like, wow, this is so cool. That's something that kind of really energizes me. Okay, so that's all I want to share for today, and thank you for your time. Bye.